Hi everyone, welcome back for the next installation of the Liccon Work Planner tutorial series. As I mentioned last time, this video will deal with the installation of the Liccon software as well as handling crane data files. I know many of you listening probably already have Liccon installed. However, I would still recommend watching this video as I'll be going into some tips and tricks that will make life a little bit easier. The first step to get up and running is to run the Liccon installer available from Liebherr. We'll first start with version 6.9. Installation itself is fairly straightforward. However, I'll be pointing out some steps along the way that will affect how the program behaves. First, we select the language we would like to use for the installer program only, not the actual work planner itself. Next is a simple introduction page followed by the Liebherr license agreement. Simply select I agree and proceed. Next, we select the language to be used for the actual work planner environment. On this page, we select standard or user-defined installation. For the purposes of this video, we'll be doing user-defined to take a closer look at various options. The first option is to install Liccon as a client, server, or both. In order to operate Liccon on a computer independently, we must install both. Eventually, I will have a video detailing how to run Liccon in client-server mode, but for now we're going to stick to just the standard installation. This screen determines where the Liccon program itself will be installed. I recommend leaving it as it is. This next screen is a bit more important as it determines where Liccon looks for crane data files. The default is program data / Liebherr / Leicaplan /tab. It's important to remember this location for the sake of installing crane data files later on. Of course, using this default path is not necessary, but we'll leave it as it is for now. Next is the folder location for saved load cases. The default is in the same Leicaplan folder as the crane data files, but in the folder job. I personally think saved load cases are one of the most underutilized functions in Liccon, and I'll be showing how useful they can be in an upcoming video. Now we've reached the end and we're given an opportunity to confirm our settings before we proceed. Now would be a good time to make a final note of where your crane data and job folders are located. Once installation starts, it can take a few minutes for everything to load, so I'll speed this up a bit. Alright, everything is finished loading and we must restart the computer to finalize our installation, although I'm going to skip this step for now. Now we click Finish, and both the Liccon Work Planner and User Manual have appeared on our desktop. Now that we have the program installed, let's open it up and take a look. We go to the manual crane selection to select a crane to work with, although as you can see, none are installed. Let's close all of this down and take a look at the folder where our crane data files should be. If you remember, it was Program Files / Leicaplan / tab. After navigating to my main disk drive, we see that there is no program data folder. The reason for this is that program data is a hidden folder in the Windows file system. We need to open up folder options in our control panel, navigate to the View tab, and then select Show Hidden Files and Folders. Now that we can see the program data folder, we navigate next to Liebherr, then Leicaplan, and then tab. Obviously it's empty, so the next step is to install some crane data files. The first source for crane data files I'll talk about is the Universal Installer. It's a single executable file with a collection of generic files for the entire Liebherr fleet. Once we begin the Universal Installer, we are once again prompted for the language we would like to use for installation, a simple welcome screen, and another license agreement to accept. As soon as we accept the license agreement, we are given a list of options for installation, in both metric and imperial units. Once I open the option for LR lattice boom crawler cranes, we see that some cranes have multiple options for trackpad width. I'll select the LR11000 and the LR11350 to show an example of both a Liccon 1 and Liccon 2 data file. Once we select our cranes and click Next, the installer prompts us for the destination folder for the data files. It automatically selects the folder we chose at installation, so we'll just leave that alone. Next, we're given the chance to confirm our choices and move on to the actual installation. Once again, this takes a few minutes, so I'll skip ahead. Now the installer has finished, so we click Next for the final confirmation screen, and then we exit the installer. Now let's go take a look at the folder where our files were installed. First we go to My Computer, then our hard disk drive, Program Data, Liebherr, Leicaplan, and finally Tab. At the top of the list, we see a folder for the LR11000, a Liccon 2 crane. As we see here, Liccon 2 cranes consist of a folder full of database files. It's best to leave these alone, as you'll certainly trash your data file if you change anything. On the other hand, here we have an LR11350.bin file, which is a Liccon 1 crane. These are a bit easier to handle when it comes to sharing files with others. There are also a series of crane-specific data files and geometry files. It's best to leave these alone. Now we've got some data files installed, so let's open up Liccon again. We go to Manual Crane Selection, and we see it's still empty. This is because we never actually rebooted to finalize Liccon, so let's do that now. Alright, now that we're back, open up Liccon again, Manual Crane Selection to select a crane to work with, and now we see the two cranes that we've installed. But I don't like those names there, and it's a little clunky looking, so what we're going to go ahead and do is change that. It's pretty easy to do. Navigate back to your hard disk, Program Data, Liebherr, Leica Plan, Tab, and let's change the LR11000 name. All you have to do is type a new name here in the folder. Let's do Buckner LR11000 2-meter track pads and hit enter. We'll go back to Liccon real quick and see that nothing's actually changed. We just need to close this window again, open it back up, and we have our new name. So this lets you organize things however you like. Another example of a source for Liccon crane data files is an individual installer. In this case, I'm installing a preliminary Liccon file for the LR1500. So again, we select our language, just like the universal installer, accept the license agreement. Again, the installer has our tab folder already set up. Confirm our final settings, and then hit install. The LR1500 is another Liccon 2 file, so it's a folder full of databases, although this isn't quite as long of an installation as the LR11000. Now that the Liccon file is completed, we finish, and everything's good to go. During our first installation, we kept the standard folders for our crane data files as well as the saved load cases. But what if we want to change that? The easiest way to achieve this is to run the Liccon installer over again. If we already have Liccon installed on our computer, we don't need to uninstall first. We can simply run the setup program over the previous one. So we go through the same steps, go to user defined, keep our client and server, keep the same program location, but here the installer identifies we already have a tab folder for our crane data. So we're given the option to keep this crane directory or create a new crane data directory. If we choose to create a new crane data directory, it allows us to transfer all of our files automatically. So once we select a new location for our tab folder under Leica Plan, we hit next, we're given the same option for a job directory for all of our saved load cases, and again the option to transfer our old jobs into the new location. As you can see, I selected a folder in Dropbox. One of the biggest recommendations I can make for using Liccon amongst multiple people is to save all of your crane data files and saved load cases in a folder accessible to everyone. This way, it becomes much easier adding a new crane because I simply need to place it on my computer in the file and everyone else receives it as well. This also distributes load cases across people, so I can save a load case and everyone else can look at it on their computer because it arrives automatically. As you can see here, everything's being copied over on the installer and then finishing up. I'm going to skip ahead since this does take a few minutes. Alright, now that we've hit complete, we will choose to reboot later, and all of our crane data files and saved load cases have been moved to our new locations. Now if we want to upgrade Liccon in place, we can do it similar to running the installers we just did. So I'm going to install Liccon version 6.10. Again, it's the same procedure. I'm just going to go through and select all the same options. Leave our client and server. Leave our program where it is. And we're given again the option to move everything, but now that we have it in a shared folder in Dropbox, we want to leave it as it is to continue sharing with everyone else. Final confirmation, and we are good to go. I'd like to close with a word of warning when it comes to uninstalling Liccon. The uninstaller is located in the program file /Liebherr/Leica Plan folder. We start it up and it starts off just like the original installer. Select our language and skip ahead to confirming where we're uninstalling from. There's nothing else to confirm though. So we hit uninstall and it seems everything's going well. But what we're going to see is in a few seconds, scrolling past on the screen is going to be all of our crane data files being deleted. There is no option to not delete the crane data files. So everything's being erased currently. That's not a big deal if you're trying to remove Liccon from a single computer. But what happens if, like me, you had it set up where all of your crane data files are in a shared folder either on Dropbox or OneDrive or similar software? It's now erasing all of that. So it's not just erasing it on my computer, it's erasing it on everyone else's. I went through this once and it was a very difficult process to retrieve everything. So just keep in mind, if somebody runs the uninstaller and is set up on a linked computer system like that, it's removed from everybody's system. So just a word of warning to keep an eye out for. That takes care of our tutorial on installation. We should be back to a normal Monday, Thursday release schedule. So check back next Thursday and check us out on the web and all the various places we can be found. Thanks for watching.